asking. All right, let's start our class. As you know, this is our first, today only we are starting a batch and this is our first demo. And yes, so first, before understanding what is SQL and what is, as you may have heard about many of the tools like we have MySQL, we have SQL Server, we have MongoDB. What is the, what are all the different tools available? Let's see everything very detailedly. But before that, before understanding everything, let's first try to understand what is data, right? And why data becomes so important nowadays. Let's first try to see that. As you know, data is nothing but any object that can be stored is can be termed as a data, right? So why data becomes so important nowadays? Like from last few years, data generation has increased, right? We all started generating lot of data, and what can be the reasons behind that? Any guesses?
Why? Because now everything is globalized, and we are using online platforms.
Correct,
So
correct.
wherein like every field is moving into IT. So ultimately it is they have recorded the data through softwares like websites.
Perfect.
So which is
Yes.
why we need to uh, understand this actually, I think.
Exactly, exactly. That is what almost you're almost there. That's the same reason. Nowadays, everything we are using everything online only, right?
Yes.
Even from the COVID pandemic time, we started, doing everything instead of in if we talk about shopping also, we are almost doing online shopping or kind of thing. We are doing everything, and everything is becoming the first and foremost thing I can say digitalization,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That is, we are using lot of apps in smartphones and generating a lot of data for every second. Like
Yes.
we are spending a lot of time with the internet. We have many apps. Maybe if we talk about any social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or watching any series, nowadays we are preferring to use more of the OTT platforms. And not only that, when as we know from the time of the demonetization, even all the payments become digitalized, right? We started using phone pay, Paytm, all of these apps a lot, correct?
Yes.
So what it's happening with the use of all these applications, or with the usage of with the increase in usage of online platforms or websites, the data is increasing a lot. Everything will store in the form of data only, correct? If we
Correct.
talk about not only apps, even nowadays we are using many gadgets, like which is connected to the internet, maybe smartwatches, TVs, ACs. We have something like Alexa, Series, correct? So
Yes.
all those things also we are using by connecting that to internet,
Correct.
right? So this is what happening. We are generating lots of data
Yes.
nowadays, and that is the reason why you know data becomes super important for us. That,
Correct.
I mean, actually within the data only some very interesting insights will lies, so that which can actually help us in a better decision making,
Correct.
right? By using data only we will understand, if we are talking about any business data, by using data only we will understand their business, and we will try to take any decisions, or we can business people are trying to understand about the profit and losses of their business. Like that, everything is depending upon the data only,
Data.
correct?
Yes. Correct.
Right. So that is the importance of data. And And as we discussed just now, data, the generation of data is becoming, when no, we are generating a lot of data, correct? So as we are generating a lot of data, and we need, you know, with this huge amount of data we generate, we need some good ways of storing the data, right?
Correct.
If I talk about the storage capacity, storage, the storage capacity is also increased over the years. Like, if we talk about our smartphones only, previously maybe we need to use only 16 GB, 64 GB, like that. Going
Yeah.
forward, our storage capacity is also increased. Now we are preferring to use 128 to 56 GBs, like that, correct?
Correct.
But suppose if you are using currently 128 GB phone, and if I ask you, can you think of buying a new phone with 16 GB? What will be your answer?
No ways, because there will be huge data to store.
To store. Okay, correct. That is okay. But
You
if
need a
I,
lot of space.
yes, but if I say you can even buy a 16 GB and you can never run out of memory, is that possible?
Mm, no, by thinking it's not possible.
Actually, yes, because of cloud.
Okay.
Of course, if I talk like this also, I don't prefer buying a 16 GB phone. Obviously, that is our, we human brains, we don't want it to go back, of course. But again, if we can, I mean, there is a way. If we can buy a smaller, storage capacity also, we will never run out of the memory because of the cloud. Because nowadays, even storage is also moved from physical device to cloud services, right?
Yes.
Cloud storage, that is the benefit of the cloud storage, is that you can actually access your data from anywhere you want, correct? If we
Correct.
talk about Google Drive, or if we talk about Google Photos, if we save any info files or any photos in the applications, that is nothing but a cloud, right?
Yes.
So we can even store that in the cloud, and we can access the files from wherever we want. By in that way, I just wanted to I just wanted to let you know, the storage capacity is also moved from the physical devices to the cloud storage, correct? Because data is growing exponentially, right? From for now, for organizations also, they cannot keep on changing their hardware every day. Let's forget about our mobiles or our usage. Let's talk about any business data, or any big companies or organizations. If they are, if personally, if as we are storing our photos or our data in the mobile phones is considered as a hardware device. Let's forget about it. Let's talk about the companies. If they are storing their devices in the hardware devices, okay,
Yeah.
every day, as they are keep on, the data will be changing, right? So as they are dealing with a big data, now for organizations, they cannot keep on changing their hardware every day, right?
Yes.
They need some systems which can scale up instantly based on the requirements. For
Correct.
example, let me take one example. Let's talk about Paytm here. We all know we will use Paytm. So when the demonetization happened, like what happened, everything moved to digitalization, right? And everyone started doing digital payments, correct?
Correct.
So at the time, organization had a big setback, like because their data increased rapidly, like within one night, like overnight, everyone started doing digital payments, and the load of the servers increased, correct? Because till
Yes.
then, most of us used, of course, maybe some people used any kind of digital payments, but most of the people used to make the payments in cash, maybe, correct? But
Correct.
when at a time when some notes got demonetized, we started using this kind of digital payments, maybe Paytm or Phone Pay, like that,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So, especially if we are talking about Paytm, what it happened in the sense, overnight they had to change their, even the servers or the capacity of the servers. The load of the servers increased, and the company needed big servers to manage and store that data.
Yes.
Literally, the company had to change their servers overnight to increase the capacity, so that they can, handle or manage the data.
Yes. Correct.
That is what we are seeing in real time. The reason I am giving you all these scenarios, or the reason why I'm explaining you all these things, is that to make you understand the importance of data, like and to just to understand how data is coming and how we are involving in the world of data. That's where you can understand that, the need of the databases or the need of the SQL, like that, right?
Yes.
So with that, let's start with the concept of databases. Database is nothing but, collection of data. Okay. The place where we can store the data, correct? Database is nothing but the collection of data.
Okay.
Okay. Satish Kumar. Hi, Satish. So are you completely new to SQL, or do you have any prior knowledge on SQL?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I am new to SQL.
New to SQL.
But I have little bit knowledge.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't have deep knowledge.
All right. All right. That's fine. Okay. Thank you. So as we understood what is data, databases in the sense collection of data. I can say the place where we will usually store all the data is called as databases. Okay. And SQL is nothing but it is a programming language, I can say. Okay. It is a language that, or else it is a programming language used to communicate with the database. Okay. If you want me to explain with some real-time examples what is SQL and what is database, I can do that. If you think you can, you know or you understood what is database and what is SQL, I will go forward. Do you want me to take an example and explain you, everyone?
Yeah, just one example. Uh,
Okay. Well, that's the reason I'm asking.
because I'm totally new here.
Yeah, no problem. That's the reason. Sometimes, not only sometimes, SQL is the subject. Even actually, I can say if anyone is from non-IT background and if they are looking to transit their career into the IT background, the first subject they need to learn is the SQL, because SQL is the backbone. I can say it is a backbone for complete IT industry, not only single domain. You
Yes.
can start your career completely with the SQL. That's the reason why I will ask you particularly about the thing that whether you already knew SQL or not. If you are from IT background, we will have database concepts in the BTech, right? So
Yes.
for that, people no need of explaining with the examples kind of thing. If at least one student is also from the non-IT background in my batch, I will try to explain with the examples so that they can relate it very easily. That's the
Yeah.
reason I asked. So let me take the example.
Sure.
Okay, so let's take an example of maybe any college or school. Okay, suppose let's imagine, let's talk about any school, and in that school we are talking about the 10th class. Okay, we have two sections, maybe 10th A and 10th B. Correct? Suppose this is a school and we are having 10th A and 10B sections. In that school, just imagine they are maintaining one registers. Maybe this is a school. Okay, and in that school they are maintaining one register in every class. Like in 10th A class they will maintain one register, and in 10th B class they are maintaining one register. And in that registers, what they will do, they will store all the student details. Okay, maybe we might have already experienced that in our schooling also. We might have seen such kind of attendance records, something like that, right?
Yes.
So just imagine the same. If they are maintaining any registers, and in that they are maintaining the student details, like maybe student roll number, student name, their attendance or marks, like that, any some details. Okay, they are
Okay.
maintaining their they are maintaining the details of that particular class, like 10th for 10th A separate register, 10th B separate register, like that. Okay.
Yes.
So now what is the thing here? If suppose the principal of the school wanted to check the performance or wanted to check the attendance of their students. So one day what he did, this principal called the peon, okay, called his peon, and the principal said to the peon that go to 10th A and bring the register to me. Okay. So what peon had did, he went to the class, he took the register and he gave it to the principal,
Yes.
where in that register all the details of the students is there.
Yes.
Okay. So at that time, by looking at the register, principal can understand the data inside it. See,
Yes.
if the concept is of physical storage, this will be like this. Instead of registers, imagine that if in that school or in anywhere, if they store the data in the form of databases, or else if instead of physically storing, if they try to store anything in the form of computers, then what it will be? How they will store in the sense? See here, as we are talking about, this is a school, right? This is a class. So if instead of here we can say this is a register, we thought this is a register, they are storing the data inside this, correct? So if instead of registers, if they store the data in the form of systems, what it will happen in this sense, they need to store inside the databases. Okay.
Okay.
Databases in the sense, just imagines maybe something like a files. Okay, in our systems, we know, in our laptops we will store everything in, inside the folders, correct?
Yes.
Suppose in D drive, inside that drive we will save one folder, and inside the folder we will save for some files. In the same way, whenever we are dealing with the big data, what we will do, first there will be something called as schema. Okay. Schema is nothing but inside the schema we will have the list of databases. Something like the schema can be considered as a C drive or D drive. Okay. Inside the if we are talking about the system, laptops or systems, we all know there will be some drives, correct? Suppose let's talk about a D drive in our laptop. Schema is something like the drive. Okay. Inside the drive there will be some folders. That folders can be considered as the databases. Okay.
Okay.
Inside the databases, that means inside the folders we will save our files, correct?
Yes.
Like that, inside the databases we will store tables. Okay.
Okay.
So here what is happening, this is register, right? If we want to store everything in the form of databases or in the form of systems, or basically I'm not talking about literally about the computer, in the real time, as we will deal with the big data, we need to we will store everything in the form of databases only, correct?
Yeah.
So instead of storing in the registers, we will store the data in the databases here. And generally in databases, what it happens, we will create a tables. Okay. We will store the data in the form of tables, and tables is nothing but we will store in the form of rows and columns. Okay, we will see this later. We will try to understand what is row, what is column, and what is table going forward. For now, just understand the date. This here in this example, this register is nothing but maybe the database, and inside the database we will have tables. Okay.
Okay.
So now here what happened, whenever principal wanted to understand about the information, or else whenever he wants to understand about the students attendance, what he did, he called the peon and he said that go and bring the register, right?
Yes.
So whenever he is communicating like that, whenever he is telling like that, he might have used any language, right? Maybe English, Telugu, Hindi. Accordingly, he will say to the peon in any language, just go and bring the register, correct?
Yes.
So if we are storing everything in the form of databases, whenever we have any requirement, whenever we want to see the data, we also need to communicate with the database, correct?
Yes.
We should say our needs. Here principal wanted to see the students attendance and he said to the peon, go and bring the register. Here if the data is stored in the form of databases, if I want to see the same attendance of the students, I need to, I need to say to the databases that okay, give me the attendance or give me any particular data, like I want to see the student marks, I want to see the student attendance, like that according to my requirement I need to communicate with the database that what I want to see exactly, correct?
Yes.
So here instead of the here to communicate or to make understand, to make Pune understandable, he used English language, right? In the same way, if we store the databases, to make a database understand, we will use a language called as SQL. Here I'm
Oh,
writing. Okay. That is what I said the definition here. SQL is a programming language used to communicate with the databases. By
oh,
communicating only, Pune understood that what is the requirement of principal, right? In the same way, to understand our requirements, we need to communicate with the database. And the language we will use here is the SQL.
okay.
Okay.
Yes.
That is about database, SQL, and schema. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Great. All right. Now let's see the technical definitions of databases and SQL. Of course, I already written here. As what we did here, whenever we are storing the data, we consider that we will store in the form of databases, right? So databases is nothing but a collection of data. Okay, we are storing the collection of data, the collective data in the databases. Okay, and SQL is nothing but it is a programming language used to communicate with the database. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
And here, as I said, inside the databases we will create tables. Okay, this one also we will see now. Now either today or tomorrow I will explain you detailing, but just for now understand, inside the database something like, as I said, inside the folders we will inside the files, inside the folder we will create a file, and inside the file we will store the maybe pictures or any kind of notes, data like that in our systems, right? The same way here, suppose if we talk about system, we will create one, first of all, drive, maybe E drive, D drive, like that. We will create a drive. Inside the drive, we will create the folder, and inside the folder, we will create some files. Right. In the same way, here D drive can be understand in the as a schema. We will have something called as a schema. Okay. Inside the schema, there will be the databases, list of databases. As we know, inside the, whenever we saw in our laptops, inside any drive we will have the list of folders, right? In the
Yes.
same way we will have the list of databases. Inside the databases we will have tables. Here inside the files, as how we will store some pics or text files accordingly, here all the data will be stored inside the tables. Okay, and what are all the data we are storing inside the tables, that one we will store in the form of row and column. Okay,
Okay.
now let's see. For example, as we are talking about students a table, students data, imagine I'm creating a students table. My table name will be the students, and I will store the data inside it, like student ID, student name, maybe a student age. Okay,
Yes.
something like that. Okay, now I will enter some data, maybe student ID is one, a student name is, I'm just giving any random names as they are students. Let's give two, something like this. I'm entering suppose this is my data. Okay, all right, now see, this will be my table name, that is students will be my table name. And as I said, inside the tables, everything will be stored in the form of rows and columns, right? Horizontal part is called as a row. Okay. And the vertical part is called as column. Okay. Yeah, this is my table name. This is my column name basically. Okay, this is my column name, SID. Student ID is one column, student name is one column, student age is one column, because vertical part is called as column. Horizontal part is called as row. Here, row in the sense the data which we are storing inside the table, right? Like 1, Raj, 16, this will be the row. This is my first row, this is my second row, and this is my third row, like that. Okay, this is one
Yes.
column, this is another column, and this is another column, and the column names are, first student ID is one column name, student name is another column name, and student age is another column name. Like that, we will store the data inside the tables in the form of rows and columns. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just explaining, as this is our first demo, I'm explaining everything theoretically. Going forward, we will see how we will create it very practically along with the syntaxes, like how to create the table, how to create the column, how we will insert the data, everything we will learn very practically. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, here I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Actually, as you said, we will be handling huge data
Correct.
in every organization.
Correct.
So, how do we link this SQL application to the cloud? Do we need to link it up to collect the data from the
Not like cloud. Basically, what are all the data we can see in the cloud also. In the backend, we will store that data in the form of databases only. We
Okay.
need to create the database, and
So
all
in
those storage will be, different. If we are talking about any Netflix application or any Amazon application, what are all in the front end, we can able to see that everything will be stored in the form of databases only in the backend.
backend.
Yeah, the
So
storage
we
capacity, we can imagine it as a cloud, but inside the cloud, we are storing everything in the form of, databases
database.
and tables only. So
Okay.
no need of, linking to the cloud. What we need to do, we will create the databases, we will create the data, and then we will work on the data in real time. As you can get out, you can imagine, like here, as I am creating only 3 rows, we can insert this 3 rows data. Suppose if we are working, as we will work in the big data, in some tables, we may have huge data, like thousands of rows.
Thousands
Correct.
of lakhs of columns and rows
Correct,
will be
right.
there.
At that time, what we will do, we won't literally create each and every row. Basically, being a SQL developers, what we will do, if we are talking about only SQL developer, also I will say, and mainly if we are talking anything about data science or data analytics field, SQL developer is a part of data analytics, correct? So at that time, or else, okay, let's forget about data analytics. If we talk only as a SQL developer also, what it happens, in the real time, suppose we are working for one company, and for that company maybe we will have one client, right? All those
Yes.
clients data, they will send the clients data to us. Okay.
Yes.
If I talk about, see, there will be many job roles available in the market right now. Let me just give you the example of only data analytics field, so that you can relate to the each and every, other domains. For example, what it happens in data analytics, in data science, there is data engineer role. Okay. And there
Okay.
is data analyst role.
Okay.
Like that, we are having many roles, like data scientist. Next role will be the data scientist, a data researcher, like that. Just let's forget about all those roles. The basic roles is, the first will be data engineer, and the second will be the data analyst. Here, what it happens, first data engineers will create the databases. They will create the databases, they will deal with the databases, and they will maintain and they will clean the databases. Once it is done, they will send that data to the data analyst team. So on that data, this data analyst team will start analyzing the data and start cleaning the data by using some of the tools. Like that, in every domain, there will be many roles. And if we are in the role of creating the databases, here again, in D role also SQL is used, in DA role also SQL is used, but the way of using SQL is different. Here the basic, the first part is done by this role, creating the databases, creating the tables, inserting the data will be done by them. Here, if uh, already they will work on the already created data, data analyst team will work on the already created data. Like that, if we learn SQL also, according to our roles, job roles, we need to do our work, okay, in any of the domain. If suppose, as you are asking, we are working with the big data, at that time what it happens in most of the cases, whenever in real time, whenever we join in any company, first we won't create all the data. Our clients will give us data directly, okay, they will give us a file. In that, almost we need to understand, we need to connect that, suppose if I'm talking, my client is using MySQL, okay, they will send us a MySQL file, and in that file already all the data will be there. All the tables will be created, all the data will be inserted, that file they will send us. Being a SQL developers, what we need to do here, we need to understand how to connect this file to our MySQL workbench, okay, and then we need to start exploring the data. We need to understand how many tables are there, what are all the data is there, we need to understand, and we will start working on that data, okay. And
Sorry
if
to
you
interrupt
get,
you.
yeah, if you get a doubt, one second, I can expect your doubt. If you can get a doubt that in that file how the database and data is, created or inserted, in the sense, if it is small data, as I said, in the data engineers team, first they will get the data as a raw data, okay. Some of the companies may use Excel file, some of the companies may use a text file, and in that file we will have all the data, okay.
Yes.
There will be some tools in the market which, by using that tools, we will convert this Excel file or text file into the, SQL format. With that tools, automatically they need to perform some steps. By doing that steps, all these data which are stored, suppose, imagine if sorry, if they store the data like this in the form of a SQL, once we connect to that tool, this will be, automatically in the backend we will get that in the form of databases. In the backend, all the syntaxes will be created. Like that also we are having nowadays, we improved a lot. All the technologies improved a lot, right? Previously, what is the situation? I don't know. As big data is involved in the companies, if we are dealing with the big data, automatically by using such tools, this data will be converted into the SQL databases file, okay.
Okay.
Like that it will be. We
So,
will see, because as you saw, here we will deal with the real time database only, okay. Once we are done with the basic concepts, I will give you here the database I'm going to use here is the Netflix database. We all know about the Netflix, right? I can say, any OTT platform, the database which we are going to work here is particularly of Netflix, but the same database will be used by any of the OTT platforms, maybe Prime, maybe Hotstar, like that. So I will show you how the file will be, how the data will be, how we need to store that, or how we need to, connect that file to our MySQL, and we will start from there. Like, how we need to analyze the things, how we need to work on the SQL. We will learn everything, practically, and how we will learn everything, how we will deal in the real time. Okay, now please ask me your question, Altaf.
yeah, what if the company is a small scale company and they ask us to do both the jobs, like as you mentioned, data engineer or data analytics.
Correct.
So by
Yeah,
learning
of
this
course. In
SQL,
some startups, only one, maybe maybe if it is a complete startup, maybe one person will deal with the two roles. Again, as I said, here data engineers team, they will follow this process only by using tools only. For data engineer, they will get the raw data only. By using the tools only, they will convert that raw data. Maybe they store the data, maybe in the Excel file or text file, like that. By using the tools only, they will convert the data into the SQL format. They
okay,
won't literally type everything, okay. That's impossible also. If we type, we may get some human errors also. We may sometimes we may do some mistakes also, right? So everything, if the data is small, we can create. But if the data is big nowadays, obviously the data will be big, and we are using the tools to convert that data, of that raw data into the SQL format.
Okay.
Once the conversion is done, here again we don't SQL developer role or any role. Once we learn the SQL, we need to understand how to create the database, how to create the table, how to insert the data for sure. But once it is done in real time, what it happens, suppose it is we may join in any company, whether it is a startup or whether it is MNC, irrespective of that. After joining, what it happens, it is not like whenever we join a new project will start. Maybe whenever we are joining, we may join in the already existing project also, correct? Suppose my client, my project is in my company, the project is for 5 years. For 2 years someone worked, and if they left the company, I got replaced in that role. So I need to work from there, correct? So we being the developers, we should be trained in such a way that we need to understand the data, whether we are from the day one of that project, whether we entered in the between also, we should understand about the data, correct? If we are in the day one also, as I said, we don't literally create and insert all the tables, we will get the raw file. I can now, as it's a first class, I don't show now, but after 2 to 3 classes I will show you the how the real time data will be, how the file will be, how we will get that file, how to restore that file, and everything we will see. Don't worry at this moment. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So like that it will happen, we don't create, but the only first 3 steps I can say: creating the database, creating the table, and inserting the data, we want to. Once the table is created, all the remaining concepts will be done by the SQL developers only. Okay, we will just get the, I will if whatever file we will get, we will just get the created, the tables will be created, the data will be inserted, and again there will be many concepts, right, in the SQL. So from there we need to start our work. Okay.
Okay. Madam, what does a SQL developer means? What actually they do?
They will maintain the databases. This is the database, right? See, as I am saying, inside the database we'll create tables, and inside the tables we will create all the data, correct? So they will
This.
have their own databases. If we talk about any of the company, if you are talking about mm, which company, maybe Amazon. Okay, maybe Amazon will have their own database, SQL developers, or maybe data engineers, all of them. So, okay, let's talk only about the SQL developers. What they will do, they will maintain the database of the Amazon.
Okay.
Okay, so what it happens, if anyone, if any people are if we open Amazon application, if we searched something, if we searched for any product, suppose imagine I searched for iPhone 14 or iPhone 15, at that time the data will be filtered, right? That particular only Amazon, I mean, if I searched it as iPhone 15, only iPhone 15 data will be shown for us, correct?
Yes.
In the front end, but back end there should be something to filter the data, to extract the data, correct? As
Yes.
the user is asking only iPhone 15, there should be something in the back end that it should display only iPhone 15. That everything will be done by the SQL developers only. We will maintain the database according to the requirement, whatever we want to see. We have all those commands. It
Okay.
will We will filter that particular data. There are many more concepts, in now itself I cannot say exactly, but eventually you will understand what the role will be. Basically, for now, just understand, we will deal with the databases.
Okay.
We will maintain the databases according to our client's requirement or user's requirement. We will give the data accordingly. If I want to understand the data here, suppose this is a student's table, right? If we have another table, and if we have, that will be my next concept actually. Once I explain all these things, then my in the next class or going forward, what I will do generally, next I will explain, let me go with the flow. See, basically, for now you understood what is database, what is tables, and what is rows and columns. Till now everything is clear for you, right,
Yes. Yes.
everyone? All right. So now what we will do, the next concept is, as we are talking about the storage of data, as we know, the data can be stored in any format, right? It can be stored in the form of Excel also, it can be stored in the form of text file also, like that. But we are specifically talking about storing the data in the databases. Now first let's try to understand why, what is the need of database. Like as we know, we can store the data in Excel also, but why database? Okay, what is the limitations of Excel and how we are going to overcome that with the database will be my next class or next concept. Once we understood that, I will start doing everything practically in the MySQL. I will show you the user interface of MySQL, and we will start creating database tables. We will learn each and every concepts detailing. Okay, and one more thing, as I said, SQL is a language used to communicate with the databases, right? So here, SQL in the sense structured query language. Okay, the full form of the SQL is structured query language. This is the universal language which is used to maintain or used to communicate with any database. But again, there are many companies available and there are many tools available. Like, we have Oracle company. For if we talk about Oracle company, they are having their own tools called as Oracle SQL and MySQL. MySQL is also the product from the Oracle only. Okay, if Microsoft is having its own tool called as a SQL Server. Like that, according to the companies, these are all the different tools. Like that, we will have many other tools like MongoDB. We have many tools like Amazon Redshift. Few companies, they are maintaining their own tools. So SQL is the language which is used commonly in each of the tools. Maybe the tools are different, but the concept is same. The SQL is so that is the reason we will learn SQL, and these are the products. The concepts here will be same only. Here we are learning about MySQL product. These are all the products. Someone may get confused that what is MySQL, what is SQL Server, right? That is the reason I'm explaining. The concept here is the same. We will learn SQL only. SQL is the universal declared. It is a common language used for any of the products. We need to learn SQL, then we can use any of these tools. Okay, there might be a little changes, but the concept will be same. The reason why we are learning MySQL is that it is what I can say, it is
Madam, will there be any major difference in SQL and MySQL?
no, not at all. I will explain. I mean, what is the difference between this two and MySQL? I will tell you when once we started creating syntaxes. Okay, the
Okay.
only one thing will be that in MySQL, while writing the syntaxes, we will use colon at the end in this too, but in MySQL
So
colon
I
is
just wanted to,
optional.
yeah,
Mhm.
I just wanted to understand. Any one of these do for us, right?
Yes, if you
To handle.
learn, see here, actually the thing is that we are learning everything by practically by using MySQL tool. But if we learn this course, that is SQL, we can try as a MySQL developer or SQL Server developer also. The concepts will be same. And again, the same thing is done by all these tools. The like you are asking the same, right? We can handle everything. If in some companies maybe MySQL will be used, some companies SQL Server will be used. the
Okay.
same the work will be done whether it is any different tools. The concept will be same. We can handle everything by any of these tools.
Okay.
Okay, and one second. One second. All right. So, as I said, this are all the just the different tools. Okay. The main concept we need to learn is the SQL only. Here we are using MySQL to learn the SQL. But once you learn with this, even whatever concepts you learn here, you can apply the same things by using SQL Server also. Okay. So the reason why we are preferring MySQL in the sense it is a open source platform.
Okay.
Open source platform in the sense it will be available free of cost. Okay, if we talk about any of the companies to maintain MySQL databases, they don't need to pay much to maintain that databases. When comes to the SQL server, they need to make some payment to to maintain that server. So as MySQL is free, most of the companies, even startups and even big companies, they are preferring to use MySQL nowadays. Previously, we don't have MySQL. We have Oracle SQL and SQL Server. Like 6 years back, we have Oracle Server, only product from the Oracle company. Recently, they introduced MySQL. The concepts are same here, but this is they introduced as an open source platform. We can use freely, even to maintain the large databases. Many companies can use MySQL freely. They don't need to pay anything to the Oracle, but
Okay.
to maintain SQL Server, they need to pay some amount to the Microsoft people. So
Understood.
for that reason, most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL, and that's the reason we are included MySQL tool in our course. But once you learn this, you can even try as a SQL Server developer also. The concepts will be same. There will be only one slight difference. What is that? I will explain you whenever we are discussing about the syntaxes. Okay, once we start discussing practically, I will tell you what is the difference between these two. Only one difference I will show you at that time. Okay, am I
Okay.
clear so far?
Yes.
Great. So next, by using SQL, what we can do in the sense, we will store the data. We will store the data. We will manipulate the data, and we will retrieve the data. Storing the data in the sense, we will store the data in the form of tables, right? Manipulating the data in the sense, working with the available data. Once with the data is created, we will manipulate. I mean, if we want to make any changes, like if some reasons if I want to change the data, here the age is 17, but if I want to change that to the 16, we need to update that data, right? All those kind of things we will call it as a manipulation, or there are some concepts we will learn going forward detailing. So all those things also can be done by using SQL. We will manipulate with the data in the sense, if required, we will make any changes. If required, there will be some terms. We will generally understand how to deal with the data. By using SQL, we will deal with the data, retrieve the data in the sense displaying the data. Okay, as I said, as I took one example, like in Amazon, whenever we are searching something, that related content is only displaying for us. That means we are retrieving the data with the SQL. This is the these three types we will I can say these three things we will do by using the SQL. How to do that we will learn detailing in going forward classes. Okay, in our
Okay.
next class, that is tomorrow's class, as today you got a basic understanding about what is SQL, what is about the databases, everything. Tomorrow, as I said, we can store data in anything. Like in Excel, we can store in PDF, we can store in text file, we can store in the same way we can store it in the form of databases. So if already we have the storing, we can store all these forms, then why database we will understand in tomorrow class. Let's compare with the Excel and the databases. What are the limitations we have in the Excel, and how we will overcome that with the databases. And once we are done with that, we will start creating, seeing everything practically. Okay,
Okay.
and
This class
now,
is for 1 hour.
yes, it's for 1 hour, 8 to 9. Okay,
No. Okay. Okay.
and let me show you the course content now.
Sure.
One second. So this is a course content which we are going to learn in our course. First, introduction to database and SQL, which is done today. Tomorrow we will see about the limitations of Excel and how we are, overcoming that limitations by using database. Then we will start creating databases and tables. I will show you the first basic user interface of MySQL, how we will work on the MySQL, and let's start creating databases and tables. Okay, then I will show you the MySQL installation process. Here, from here, all the concepts will start. What is data types, the SQL commands? We have this type, different types of SQL commands. What are all these? And we will see everything practically. Then we have concept called as integrity constraints. These are all some clauses, select clause, where clause. Till here, we will understand everything very practically with some basic data. Okay, once we are done with this, I will show you our real-time database. Here I'm going to use movies database. That means, as I said, I will explain every concept in this course by using the real-time data, because here I in most of the institutes you can see they will either they will explain the concepts with the definitions with the syntaxes. If they want to show you the syntax, they will explain you by using such normal something like just we saw students table, employees table. By that they will explain all the things, but in real time it's not like that. We won't work on small data, we will work on the big data only. So here especially what I will do, I will explain every concepts on the real data only, so that you can relate to it. And if you are completely new to SQL, and if you have some gap, and if you are planning to keep some experience also, at that time it will be helpful for you, correct? You need to understand how we will work with the big data. That's the reason I will use movies database here. That is a Netflix database. I will show you that database first. I will explain you what are all the, how to I will explain you first about the data inside that databases, and I will give you that database. I will show you how to, connect that database in your systems, and then we will start understanding the advanced concept. These are all some advanced concepts like order by clause, SQL, basic operators, range operator, membership operator. Like that, we are having many concepts. These are all some clauses. Next, we have functions. From here, I can say the main most important concepts will start. Joins. Next, regular expression. These are all some clauses. Then we have subqueries. We have two types of subqueries: correlated subquery, non-correlated subqueries. Then we have normalizations, normal forms, ER diagrams, denormalization. Next comes with the CTEs, common table expressions, views, index, temporary tables, and store procedure. These are all the concepts of SQL. Yes, please.
Here I have a doubt. What if I miss a class and I wanted to?
Yeah, you will get a recordings from the day one. Even with this demo, you will get a recordings. If
Okay,
you
so
didn't
will I
attend the
get
class,
self-paced videos?
self-paced videos in the sense.
I mean, already recorded videos, which I can go back and.
That's what. See, if say from today, whatever I'm teaching in this batch, everything will be recorded. Now also, this class is being recorded, and that file will be sent to you. Like that, in our classes also, one day if you miss the class, you will get that recording, right? You need to watch the video and you can understand. If you have any doubts, you can ask me again. So you will get all the recordings of our class, and I will give you the notes also, class notes also. Along with that, you will get the recordings, and you will have 6 months access to 6 months access to for that recordings, for that videos. Okay. And usually previously we used to charge 6,000 for this fees, but from the last batch only we are giving a great offer. The course fees is of only 2,000, and the course duration is of 40 days.
40
Okay, we
days.
will get this. Yeah, 40 days. In 40 days we will complete the complete entire course, starting from today, 40 days. Okay.
Okay. And
And
ma'am, as I'm
Monday
into
to
non-technical,
Friday, no?
actually Sunday will be the holiday. About Saturday, we will, generally what I will do, I will decide it on the Friday. For the first 2 to 3, maybe 2 weeks, I won't take on Saturdays. If required, without taking Saturday class also, I can complete the course. But if required, maybe last 2 weeks I can take, like that. Depending upon the students, if students don't want Saturday, I won't take. And depending upon the syllabus also, if I need to complete, I will take last 2 weeks Saturdays also. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, ma'am, I have a query.
Yes,
So
please.
actually, I would like to know, as I'm from a non-IT background,
Okay.
So will it be beneficial for me to pursue this course?
Of
And
course,
I
as I
can't
said
see.
at this, yes, as I said starting, whenever you are from the non-IT background, you need, if you want to start your career as an into IT department, if you are want to transit your career into IT, you need to learn SQL only for the first.
Okay.
SQL is the basic subject. Is it is a backbone for any domain. You can choose domains on your interest. Upon your interest, there are many domains. But basically, if we talk about Java, or if we talk about full stack, in everything in that domains, everything will be like coding will be involved. So I personally won't suggest, because coding will be a little bit difficult. If you can able to understand, if you can able to learn that, that will be great. But mostly, as in my experience, what we observe, for IT candidates, for IT students, we in our first 4 years of BTech, we will learn some programming languages, so we can able to, for even for the IT students also, dealing with the programming languages will be the uh, it will be a little bit tough. So for non-IT students, and for the students who are not interested in hardcore programming languages, they can choose you know the domains where programming is not involved will be, or else a little bit programming is involved, in the sense they can handle it very easily. Like that, just go through all the domains and understand accordingly upon your interest. And
Thank you very much, ma'am.
you're
And if
welcome.
you don't mind, I need to end this here, my
Okay.
demo,
Okay.
because I'm getting late for my office.
Sure, sure. No problem. Actually, I'm also done with my time. Let's meet in tomorrow's class. Okay.
Sure, sure. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Guys, let's meet tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye. Satish, do you have any doubts?
No, actually, I have already I'm working. I'm working as
Okay.
front end. I'm trying for full stack.
Okay.
So that's why I'm looking for the
Yeah, that's
database.
what. That's what. Any domain also, full stack also, obviously we need to, learn SQL only. Upon your choice, upon your interest, you can choose your domain, but a SQL is must to learn or to get into any IT domains, right?
Yes, yes.
So yeah.
Actually, I want this advanced topics only. Giants.
Okay,
So
okay,
everything.
fine. But as in the batch, if anyone are completely new, we need to cover the basic concepts also, right? So, in 2 to 3 classes, or three, like first, maybe tomorrow's class will be the also the basics, and 2 to 3 classes
Okay,
will
okay,
be
no
taken.
problem.
Then we will get into the main concepts. This clauses is also important. If you are already familiar with clauses, just I suggest you to listen the class. That will be helpful for you, because we are dealing with the real-time database, right? We will see in this database how we are going to deal all these clauses, joins, like that.
Yes, yes. Okay,
It will
okay.
be like revision for you.
Yes, I will listen first class also.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
I don't have practical experience also in this databases.
Okay, yeah, that's what. It will be helpful for you. So as I said, tomorrow we will finish it off in first 15 minutes. We will finish it off the different, limitations of Excel, and we will see how to overcome with database. And then we will tomorrow only, after maybe first 15-20 minutes, we will start working with the MySQL tool. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Let's end this session today. Let's meet tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.